This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to talk to you about why you're so stressed and some things that you can do about it, some life changes you can make that will actually make a big difference. Stay with me through this list so I can talk about these things because some of them are not obvious in terms of how you can actually apply this to your life. Number one is that you have too many responsibilities. And one of the things I'll notice, especially with parents of young children who are stressed, is that they will have their child in all of these extra activities. And they're just constantly going. Monday they have this, Tuesday they have this, Wednesday. And it's after school and it's just a panic to get the kids to where they need to be for this practice, for this recital, for this game. And whereas it's great to have kids who have projects and they are involved, I usually suggest just letting them pick one thing that they really enjoy and focusing on that, rather than have all these different things and all these different practices and things you have to do throughout the week, because you will be a better parent if you're not as stressed and if you're not constantly going all the time and worried that you're late for this and you have to get them ready for this and you've got to get this paper filled out so they can do this. It's going to be difficult for you not to be stressed. So don't worry. You're not a bad parent if your kid doesn't play in every sport or do every curricular. Let them do one main thing they enjoy a lot. And they're going to be more likely to excel at it, but also they will be less busy because a lot of those things are busy work. They don't really accomplish much if we're being honest. So keep that in mind, that at least you could lower that to some degree. And it's very unlikely that your child is just going to be hurt and traumatized because they're not so busy. They will enjoy the downtime too. And downtime is actually a good thing. I'm going to get into that more in this video. Before I get to number two, take a quick second and subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when I have more videos like this. The second one is my personal favorite, and it is that you need to learn to be stubborn. Basically, it's stubborn optimism, and it means that you choose to think positively, you choose to focus on the positives and the joyous, happy things in life as much as possible because you are stubborn about your own mental and emotional health. And so rather than choosing to complain, choose something to enjoy in that moment, something to actually talk well of, to speak well of. See how many things in front of you that you can compliment. The coffee tastes good. I like the wallpaper. I like the wood on this table. It's a beautiful day outside today. Just those positives, especially when you're around people who are negative and they just always seem to point or complain at something that they don't like. Choose to be stubborn in terms of your own peace. And so even when you are just by yourself thinking, choose to think on positive, good things instead of the negative things. I know that sometimes that's not always easy to do, but other times you're going to find that it's very refreshing and that it does almost feel like you're doing something bad or wrong or selfish, but you're not. Choose to stay in the positives. It applies to the first thing I mentioned as well. When other people are like, oh, you need to do this, you need to sign up for this, sign your kids up for this and this and this, and then on Fridays we have this. Be stubborn and say, no, we're good. I don't want to be too busy. We don't like to be too busy. There's nothing meaningful about being busy and constantly going. It stresses people out. And so living a simpler life, if you're feeling the stress, then you are someone who needs a simpler life. And there's nothing at all wrong with it. Some of the most beautiful moments you will have are when you're sitting with someone, like a friend, a child, a family member, just having coffee or something else in a quiet room, or you're on the back porch and the sun's going down and you're just kind of talking. It's not found in noisy bar rooms, clubs, sporting events, all those things. Those things are all fine and there's a place for them. But we have made them to where after we're so busy with work and we get done with work and we get done with helping our kids with school, and then we just feel we have to go out and do something. But I really suggest that if you are feeling the stress, that you need to find a way to stay home more or to go to someone's apartment or house and just have a one-on-one, just sit with them, just talk with them, have a slow evening. We need those things, just like we need sleep at night. Nobody says you shouldn't sleep. Nobody feels guilty because they slept. Everybody's trying to get more sleep. And you should see these times when you just sit and speak with someone or even just sit by yourself. See that as a type of rest. It's a type of rest. It's a type of reflection. And it also allows you to unlearn this stress this feeling you need to be doing something, this feeling that something is getting missed. What is it? I should be doing something. I'm missing something. I need to do some paperwork, or I need to get some papers ready, or I'm sure the kids are missing a practice. You need to learn how not to do that, how to just sit and enjoy and let the moments come in front of you. And you need to be stubborn about it. So learn to be stubborn about your own happiness. That doesn't mean that you're selfish. Doesn't mean that you put yourself above others. It just means that if you are dealing with these things, that you become stubborn about sticking up for yourself and preventing some of these stressors and learning how to function in the opposite way, which is where you wouldn't feel stress. If you don't know what it's like to be unstressed, then you're not going to be very good at it. And it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to sit and not feel these things. And so practicing by having these quiet times, these slow evenings, is a great thing. Number 3 is avoid negative people, and at least know that you are going to need to be extra stubborn around them. And that means that you're going to change the subject a lot maybe, or that you are going to make your time with them as little as possible if that's appropriate in the situation. If it's a family member, sometimes it's inevitable. But certain people who complain a lot, certain people who turn everything negative, who are always pressuring you because they're so busy, they want you to be busy, just learn to avoid them, or to at least keep their influence to a minimum. Have some inner dialogue where you're thinking positive thoughts. You're not letting it get to you, and you're not feeling the pressure, because a lot of times we will pressure each other to be more busy, to do this, when usually you have enough going on. And it's okay to say no. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. It's good to have those boundaries, to just say, you know what, that evening or that day, that's just my day to just relax. That's my day to just take a day off, to have a slow day and read or do whatever. But thanks for asking. Number 4, I talk about quite a bit. Number 4 is stay in the moment. When you start finding that you will think to the future, you'll think about next week, what you have to do then, or the week after that even, you're robbing the moment from yourself. You're taking away what I'm trying to get you to do as far as just inviting and accepting this downtime. So learn to pull your thoughts back to right here. Even say it to yourself. Say, no, I need to come back to right here, right in front of me, right in this moment. I'm not going to let my thoughts wander out there to what I need to do next week, or what I need to do the week after, or what I'm forgetting that I need to do next week, or what's coming up that I'm dreading. The most famous person in history who also had to deal with some of the worst injustices and difficulties of anyone who's ever lived is Jesus, who said, today's enough. Tomorrow will worry about itself. And he's right. Today is plenty. Just stay right here. You'll be able to handle tomorrow when you get there. You'll be able to handle next week when you get there. And learn how to think that way. Learn how to just say, I'm not supposed to be thinking about this right now because I'm not there yet. I will think about this when it's time. And right now it's not. Right now I'm focused on this cup of coffee. I'm focused on the sunset. I'm focused on this conversation with my friend, my son, my brother, my mother. Become an expert at staying right here in the moment. And that will mean that you will have to rein yourself in a lot, because most of us are so used to thinking ahead because we've been programmed to do that. We don't want to miss this deadline. The kids have this going on next week and this due at school. I got to drop the car off and pick the car up. All these different things that are just pulling at us. And so we actually feel like we're doing the right thing by constantly thinking ahead so we don't miss anything. And that's just a mound of stress. It's just something that's only going to harm you emotionally, mentally, and it will hurt you physically. It will raise your cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. And we want those to be down and low. And you need long, extended periods of time where that's low. And when you're worried about deadlines and you're thinking about the future and next week and what you're missing and what you have to do and what you're dreading, then you're only raising your cortisol and you're never giving yourself a break from it. And you've got to give yourself that break. So make it to where you are in a future-free zone. That means I'm not thinking about the future. I'm focusing on this moment right here, because life is meant to be lived now. You're not guaranteed a future. So stop trying to live in the future. Live in the moment. It's way better here. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't anticipate something that you're going to enjoy. Do that some, but then pull back from it and enjoy this moment, because that will actually allow you, when you get to this thing that you're going to enjoy, to be able to enjoy it. How many times have you done something and then when it's over, you felt disappointed because you've trained yourself to think in the future So think so far ahead that you weren't able to enjoy the moment. And so train yourself to enjoy these things that you're looking forward to. So when you get there, you can stop and you can enjoy that. So important in this equation of lowering your stress. Before I get to number 5, again, subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when I have more content like this. Number 5, find a slow hobby. You could even have a couple of them, and you do them when you want to. You don't feel guilty about it or schedule it to where you feel obligated to it. Now you can schedule it to where you cut out time for it and you don't let other things take away from it, but don't feel guilty if you don't get to it. But if you can find some slow hobbies, you will learn how to stay in the moment. You will learn to slow down, and you will learn how to just feel peace and relaxation, which is very important. It's not laziness. It's you looking out for yourself. So a slow hobby can be reading, writing, painting, fishing, walking and going on walks with other people, slow walks. This is important now because a lot of people will start walking and they feel like they've got to hurry because that's what we have within us. It's just almost part of our DNA now. We've got to hurry. We've got to do everything as quickly as possible. We can't just take our time and just walk to walk with no rush, nowhere to be, just walking, taking in the scenery, having a slow, unhurried conversation with someone if someone's with us while we're walking, but you can certainly walk alone. But that's a great thing to do. And it's another way you can train yourself not to hurry, not to feel like you're wasting time because you're not working toward that thing for next week or next month, but just learning to stay in this moment and to just get everything out of this moment possible. Another thing you can do that really helps with this is gardening, because you don't get instant gratification. You put a seed in the ground or a few seeds, you plant it, or you're transferring a plant, and growth is slow. And you go outside and you water it, you read up a little bit on taking care of it. It teaches you to not rush everything because we're trying to make everything happen so fast nowadays. And some of that can be good, but a lot of that, as far as how it has bled into everything else in our life, we've rushed things that we shouldn't rush. And so find those slow hobbies that can teach you to slow down, keep you in the moment, and also help with stress because you don't feel this pressure. No one's making you do anything. You are just doing what you want to in the moment, and you're just taking the time, the moments, the seconds as they come. There's no sense of hurry. It's very important if you want to take some of the stress away. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, and thank you for watching this video. This has been Coach Lee.